My name is Vaki. This is the Homegirlheu's YouTube channel, and I am an adult with disabilities living with mental and physical conditions and disabilities. My channel is intended to empower anyone with disabilities, mental or physical, and to educate. I'm sharing my experience. I'm creating an online community and a safe space for myself and others to connect and grow in. Today I'm going to be talking about my legal issues. I don't know how it is in any other state, but I know my experience has been extremely challenging. Various reasons, having mental diagnoses is even more challenging, and being understood or treated fairly. From my experience, I feel like things have always been unfair. I've not been completely understood or seen in a way that I felt was fair, or heard in a way that I felt was fair. And that literally could be the story of my life. Not too long ago, I was successful in a civil case against an organization that I feel like lacked the proper training to manage some of my treatment and my care plan that I had agreed to at the time. Anyways, I think that's something that is everywhere. Like, a lot of people are not trained. For example, I've been fired from a lot of employments. Opportunities have been limited to me, and I feel like that's unfair. But I feel like people also don't know how to understand me, or to not necessarily like accommodate me completely, but just understand like things about me so that, I don't know, just be easy on me a little bit. They don't see the disability. Actually, I think they do see the disability, and some people try to take advantage of that, which is seriously unlawful, uncivil, inhumane, and disgusting. And I know those types of people also have had the unfortunate experience of having to deal with those type of people, where they see the disability, they know that there's, that I have sensitive areas, and they purposely try to press my buttons or push those areas, to get a reaction out of me. I said, oh no, I gotta get ready. I gotta get prepared. I gotta make sure, like, I want to have lawyers on speed dial. I want to make sure I don't lose all my shit, because been there, done that. I got the hat and the shirt to match, and I'm not interested in going back. So I want to make sure that, like, my good name is something that is recognized and respected everywhere. And I want to create like that accountability, not just online, but like in real life, because I'm just really tired, honestly. Like, I'm literally in bed right now, me and my cat Kamugi. He's ESA certified. He's also incredibly special. And we're publishing a book, me and Kamugi and Sarah. If my cats are in danger, or if my child is in danger, or if I'm in danger, like, that's not okay with me. So I'm dealing with people. One thing about people is they're going to be people, and they don't have boundaries, and they're not expected to, especially if it's not like anything that they're required to do. Like, they're not held to a standard at all. And so a lot of people they're not gonna purposely try to be good people if that's not what they are. I've also had the pleasure, let me also say that I've had the pleasure of interacting with some really good people in my life, and I want to keep that in mind as well, because I feel like those are the people to really keep going for, and those are the only people that deserve any type of acknowledgement, time, and attention. I get so overwhelmed in my emotion, especially if it's negative, that I start going off about the enemy and everybody else. And it's like they don't even deserve my energy like that. They don't deserve my time, my headspace. Like, my mental health is incredibly valuable to me. My emotional health and well-being is incredibly valuable to me. My ability to be present to my daughter and my cats and myself is incredibly valuable to me. And I'm just not going to waste my precious energy, my time and attention on anybody that doesn't deserve it. And I know that I have a lot of work to do with myself, because I do feel like hate is a strong, passionate feeling, and I've seen what can really transpire when someone has enough hate towards somebody. Like, they start living for that, they start living for whatever that purpose is, because that hatred is so crazy. But I'm all about love, and I believe love wins. And I'm absolutely team love. So I'm trying to really express that in my truth, but I'm just working on myself, and I don't need to explain myself to anybody that matters. So being understood, I feel like is important, especially as a person with disabilities living this way. And I just feel like I've not been understood by a lot of people, and I just feel like that's something that is absolutely necessary. So recently I've had some threats from people. Unfortunately, they seem to be, from what I could see, they seem to be planted there. I feel like they were planted there, and they're trying to conspire against me. And I know that people will say that's paranoia, whatever. It does remind me of the time that I was talking about being a targeted individual, and gang stalking and that kind of thing, which I've kind of really moved past a lot of that way of thinking these days. Although I've moved past that way of thinking, meaning the targeted individual type way of thinking, I just know that there are undercover or under the table type deals, favoritism, and corruption that is ongoing, and there's so many stories about that, including my own personal life experience. There's so many people that have been pardoned, and like after spending so much time in jail, they finally get released, although they were literally facing like a death sentence. And in my mind, I'm playing this scenario of, if I went to jail or prison and all the odds are stacked against me legally, it would be probably no chance of me getting out sooner. They would literally try to push it to the extreme, They would literally try to keep me there as long as possible, and that's according to my own experience of when they actually kept me in there. And that was such a traumatic experience that I don't even like to talk about. But that's a part of my truth. I feel like, honestly, like, my life is in danger. And if I try to defend myself, they're going to try to spin a narrative, a false narrative, that it's something totally different than what actually happened, because they literally lied. Like, they've been lying all this time. In a court of law, they would judge anybody according to, like, their history, criminal history, etc. But I was wrongfully convicted. So it is really unfair that I was wrongly convicted, and that my right to have a gun was like somebody else made that decision, and that's just not right or fair for me. Basically, this video is to say that there are a lot of odds against me, that the odds are really stacked against me, and I need to just really create my support group. Like, I need to create my accountability partners, etc., and that's what I'm doing with my online community. No validation or anything like that. It's just like a share space, a safe space to share experiences in, and for commentaries, and definitely for emotional and moral support. Absolutely. Like, give me a virtual hug. I give everybody else, like, I give my community a virtual hug, and support as well through these digital airwaves that I'm so fortunate to have during this time, because I don't know who else I'd be talking to right now. My therapy appointment and psychiatry appointment is coming up real soon for me. And I have been prescribed medications, so I just feel like I'm going to be all right in the meantime as far as dealing with what I'm dealing with currently. But I do feel very unsafe, very insecure, and very in danger, very much in danger, and it's affected my mental and physical health, and I just can't deny that. At the same time, I do absolutely want to say that I am stable enough. Being a felon means that I couldn't even have my pepper spray, and that's crazy to me. I'm studying the law now to prevent being in jail rather than going to jail and then trying to learn the law to help myself get out. I'm understanding the laws to prevent myself from going in, and I feel like it's going to be a legal process from one way or the other, and I feel like I'm doing the right thing with preventing it instead of going through it and then learning from it afterwards, because that's just a really hard life lesson that I don't need to learn twice. I've already learned that there's a lot of disadvantages. For example, when they threw me in jail, in prison, for something I didn't do, I was at a disadvantage being a transient, meaning a homeless person. I was drunk in public. I needed help, and they didn't want to help me. And I feel like they would have helped anybody else that they saw that was drunk and stumbling all over the place, especially as a woman that is just I don't have any weapons, it's just me, I'm all alone. I'm obviously in a very vulnerable situation, but I learned from that experience that nobody has any sympathy for that. They don't care about that. They're not going to consider that. And I have to protect myself. In addition to these mental health issues I have physical health issues that I'm addressing, and with all of my healthcare professionals, it's just a process. Anybody that experiences it knows these things are very time consuming. So I know that I have to get equipped with what I need to know, how to protect myself legally. And I'm really just thinking of my daughter and my cats really first. Now I'm thinking of myself. Also, I have already a mountain of issues that I'm addressing already. I don't need any more issues, but I just know when I look at people where they're from, and I just know they're gonna try something with me. I just know jail when I see jail. And when I see, the other day I literally could smell jail. There's a smell that I would smell when I was in jail, and I could smell it. And I was like, no, I rebuke those things, etc., etc. They're preying on my downfall, etc., etc. And I'm recording and posting this video for my safety, my protection, and my truth. So I'm not feeling well. I have a Snapchat filter on, and without it on, it's very visible that I am not well. I'm getting real serious about my rights as a citizen, because I've been really good for quite some time now. I've been good for years, but I've not been getting the acknowledgement and the credibility for it. I just feel like a lot of the things from the past is trying to follow me and haunt me, and the things that I'm working towards moving away from. I don't know if anybody understands how challenging that is, being from what I feel like I've experienced. It's just everything is some sort of trap, and I don't trust these supposed law enforcement. I've had to deal with several issues of corruption in the court system, but basically I just have a lot of legal issues, and I feel like that is a disadvantage of mine when it comes to things where if I'm just not comfortable calling the police or the sheriffs, and I'm not comfortable talking to them, and I don't trust them really at all. They failed so many times. And so I'm saying that to say that if and when I have to stand my ground and defend myself, the odds are against me. And I have to prepare for that. I'm in a really vulnerable place, so I want to have a lawyer just like on speed dial, because I didn't come this far in my life, and I have future plans. Like, I have prior commitments and prior reservations. So I don't want my previous convictions or my past criminal history to try to play a role in me fighting the odds of keeping myself and my freedom in good standing. It's a lot of self-help that I'm doing in posting this, because I need to get the message out there. And I know that there are some attorneys that do the pro bono and things like that, or they work in advance and get paid later, etc. Like, talk to me, talk to me, because I feel like there's a lot of money to be had. And this isn't necessarily for me about money. This is about like my real actual life and things that I value, which has never been money or materialistic possession. I just feel like the new day and age of attorneys, especially younger ones, such as Kim Kardashian, younger ones that have more of a realistic kind of ability to relate, rather than some dusty old public defender that doesn't give a shit about what a girl or a woman has to endure, especially as a homeless person. My ability to tell my truth and my ability to connect with people, I feel like it's just going to support me preventing myself from being mistreated or abused in a corrupted court system ever again, because I have the hope, at least, to say somebody might hear my story and get me out. Somebody might hear my story and really understand that I don't deserve to be in jail because of all of these cases, all of these experiences that I've been enduring. Now, this is just only, obviously, I'm focused on the scenario of actually going to jail or prison. There's also the scenario of going to the hospital, of going to the grave, which could have easily happened and can easily happen to anybody at any point in time in life, anywhere. So many unfortunate circumstances of wrong place and wrong time happen to so many people everywhere. And without the full knowledge of all the facts and all the details in any case, like, it could really go the wrong way. Because from my experience, a lot of people really don't care, and they'll throw away the key on anybody. And for anybody that doesn't have the financial ability to have a lawyer, to have somebody defend them and speak and advocate for them, is at a serious disadvantage. So I feel like I am doing the right thing in sharing my experiences as far as the facts, because I feel like if I identify myself and I have my profile online and it's obviously real, like I'm a real human being, I'm a real person, I just have a better chance of having that level of accountability, worst case scenario. And if I was in the hospital or if I was in the grave, that would be obviously unfortunate, and I wouldn't even care about a GoFundMe. I wouldn't care about like being a burden to my daughter or my cats or to society or to anybody. I'm a good human being, and I don't really appreciate the fact that the circumstances, my criminal history, a lot of liars basically are not telling the truth. And so the credibility that I feel like I should have, that would equate to the amount of support that I feel like I would receive otherwise, I feel like is really another disadvantage. Like, I have to really push my truth. This way, like, I'm completely like in the light that I'm supposed to be in, that I'm seen for who I am and not for who they try to make it or portray me to be. For example, the incident where the disgruntled neighbor smeared garbage all over the door and all over outside. When I opened the door, obviously picture that. Like, I open the door and on the officer's body camera, it's me standing there in a pile of garbage, which is not my truth. And I didn't even realize that because I otherwise would not have opened the door. And this is what I'm also working on, is listening to my truth, my inner voice that says, I'm not comfortable opening the door, so I'm not going to. They're going to have to break that shit down. And so when I said that, because I told them that, I told them that I'm not comfortable opening the door, and they walked away. So I thought, okay, they're leaving. But they came back and they knocked again, and I opened the door, and I feel like maybe I should have just left the door shut, because it wasn't until after I shut the door that I realized they just got me on camera in a fucking pile of garbage, and I don't like that. I don't like that look for me. And so that's what really triggered like all of these memories of all of those traumatic experiences back to back in my mind, of all the times that they really got it wrong and how I really look like something other than what I am. And I don't appreciate that. And I mean, the fact that those people, the disgruntled neighbors, and there were several of those, I mean, the fact that all of them could stand there and literally lie, like they were literally lying. They said, oh, she did this. They're basically saying I did what they were doing. Like, just blows my mind. Like, it's completely mind-boggling to me that they can do that. And I'm not perfect, and I'm not a saint, but I'm a good human, and I'm honest in my own truth. I can admit my own truth, and I don't go around bothering people. I mind my own business, and I keep to myself. So I feel like that's fair and that's right. And so for them to come trying to bother me and then to try to lie, that's literally crazy. And when the sheriff asked me my name and birth date, I started stuttering. I started like tripping over my words, and I started to feel like I did do something wrong. And that's crazy because like I'm good. Like, so basically it triggered a trauma response where I started feeling confused. And to anybody else, I would look guilty. I would look like I'm stuttering and I'm lying, or I'm trying to think of a story. And that's crazy, and that's exactly the reason that I'm creating like these. I'm going to be posting more frequently, more often, telling my truth, talking about it every day, etc., etc. It's just really exhausting, and having to like replay and feel all of that again, and feeling all of those feelings again, and it's not fun. Like, who wants to do that? Like, I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of people purposely avoid therapy. They avoid that work, that healing. Just, it's really challenging to get through that. But in my defense, as an adult with disability, anybody that's not trained or doesn't have any knowledge or experience, or even if they did, and they did if they were able to say that's a trauma response, whatever, somebody could definitely flip that and try to say that it's something else other than what it is. They could be like, oh, well, she started stuttering, and I just don't believe her, etc., etc. And it's because they don't even understand like what's happening in my mind right now. In my mind, it's replaying when they threw me in jail, and I was in jail for something I didn't do, and that was a really scary time, and I don't want that to happen again. And I know there's a lot of people that probably do feel intimidated, and they feel like they have to comply, in those interrogation type of situations. Because there's so many weird stories of people that just start confessing to things they didn't do, and complying, which is really wild, you know. That's just really unfortunate. I'm so glad that I'm not that far gone, and that I can save myself, and that I did actually save myself. And in my defense, I deserve to be happy, and I deserve to live my life. I deserve to feel safe, and I don't deserve to be subjected to being harassed and being threatened, you know. So I talked about that particular moment from that most recent incident to highlight my point of view, my perspective of the reason that I don't trust the police or the sheriffs, that I don't trust them for anything, for their help. I just feel like they probably didn't even take my my side of the report. I have to file my own report, but they just didn't look like they were trying to listen to what I was saying when I said to detain that person, to obviously detain the threat, the person that's causing disturbance, etc. Like, they just weren't interested really in upholding any standard of public safety, community safety. They weren't interested in like doing their job, basically, which is not surprising, and it's not anything that hasn't been in the news about the police or the sheriffs. Corruption is crazy everywhere, and there's good and bad everywhere. And unfortunately, I've just had to be dealing with the worst type of those. When I say that, I mean, like, that might be something, it'll be something that's considered in my defense, basically. Like, there's a bias. What I'm talking about, why I'm posting this, is because I'm in a vulnerable position. My life has been threatened one too many times, and I'm just feeling like really not safe. I'm feeling not safe, and even more so because I'm mentally and physically not as strong as I feel like I normally am. Everything that I've been dealing with has been made me really vulnerable, like emotionally. So I'm just really sensitive. God damn. Anyways, I'm not really sure what to expect with the situation at this place. I just know that I'm going to defend myself, period. Does that make sense? Why did somebody just suddenly decide to start an issue with me when I literally been trying to avoid the law? I've been trying to avoid the police and the sheriffs. Like, they seem to be everywhere, and I know when I say that it sounds like I'm running from them, and I'm not, but I feel like they're after me. And I feel like I literally feel like they're employing people to fuck with me, to throw me back in jail. And I don't know why I think that, and I hope that somebody can help me understand that or clarify that for me in my mind. But that's just what I'm thinking, because it seems to be a repeated thing, and they keep throwing it on me that I'm the problem everywhere I go. And I don't appreciate that, and that really bothers me, and that hurts my feelings, actually, because I'm not the problem, and that threatens, like, the stability of my housing, my mental health, my cats, my daughter. That threatens a lot, and that's really putting me in a real bad emotional state and defensive mind. Had I been in my truth a lot sooner, I feel like I really could have saved myself from a lot of unfortunate experiences or circumstances. Having my identity, having the ability to be empowered in the fact that I am a girl, I am a woman, I am one of one, I am all hail the queen. Like, and those things are so empowering that it just puts me in a different headspace. It puts me on a level that is just untouchable. It is empowering because it has helped me understand myself so that I can have more self-control, which I feel like has been very challenging and still is. It's like ongoing work. And I feel like that could be anybody. Anybody could say that. And how well and good I am with it all will be reflected in my life. I feel like I should have a little bit more empathy and care for myself, from myself and from others, rather than being punished for it. And I know that's a lot of cases. Mental health just recently, I feel like since the pandemic, recently became something everybody cares about. Anyway, I think that's it. I just wanted to create a video to highlight my truth, discuss some of my concerns in regards to my safety and security, etc. And like, I don't know, I know that I'm gonna have to do more, like I'm gonna have to call, be on the phone and whatever, and it's like, I obviously am able to. I'm able to get on the phone. I just don't enjoy discussing these things. And I'm not over exaggerating when I say the nausea, and like I literally become physically sick trying to talk to people on the phone, like about, especially this situation. For example, they called me to process my claim against the property damage that those disgruntled lying neighbors caused. And it looks like it's gonna be ruled in my favor. That's what it looks like from what I can see. But I don't, I'm not, even though I feel like I can foresee that, it's just, I still don't enjoy the experience, like nobody would. This isn't supposed to happen. It's inconvenient. And I'm kind of upset about it.